I'm Lone, and welcome back to Tiny Bunny. So, looks like we have to open something. Our drawer. One of the drawers was empty. I hid the mitten there. Should probably take it to the police, honestly. Yeah, Volva's missing mitten. Probably not good to have that kind of evidence on you. But oh well, I suppose that's where it remains. At least it doesn't have a hand in it. This simple action drained the last bit of strength from me. I sat on the bed, and only then did I notice that there was someone behind the curtains. My tired hand dropped to the sheets. Whether it was due to the medication I took. Yeah, let's talk about the medication real quick, actually. So, both Anton and Olya have very vivid imaginations. We've already expressed that, much to their parents' annoyance. But Anton was actually seeing blood and feeling things, like tangibly feeling things. For a hallucination like that to happen, and him being prescribed medication kind of makes him an unreliable narrator of sorts, I suppose. So it's hard to tell whether it is an overactive imagination or if he's actually suffering from like paranoid delusions or schizophrenia or something like that, you know. But he does have medication for it, so I'm presuming it was prescribed, unless mom's just dosing him with sedatives, and it's definitely a sedative from the effects that we saw. So yeah, I'm not too sure now. Like, it's hard to take what Anton says to heart and actually be convinced that it is real and not just from an overactive imagination or an unconfirmed mental diagnosis. Yeah, we don't really have a way of knowing that. Whether it was due to the medication I took or the stress I underwent, the room began to contort, as if the wind was blowing the walls out like a pair of sails. The corners of the room bent and undulated. The only stable thing in the whole room was the figure between the windowsill and the curtains. A flimsy piece of cloth was stuck to my hidden visitor. It reminded me of burial sheets. Olya? Who else would be standing there? I stood up and licked my dried lips. Yeah, Olya, it's so funny. The silhouette was unmoving. It was enveloped softly by the curtains, as if there was a thick layer of darkness there, not a human being. I reached towards the curtains. But dumb, beat my heart, controlled by medication. The wind sang in the field with a chorus of voices. For a second, I wanted to return to bed, just lie down and watch the person behind the curtain, knowing full well that they were looking back at me. They're looking without blinking, waiting for me to fall asleep. Plastic rings rustled against the holder when I pulled open the curtains. Gotcha! I knew it was you from the beginning. A blinding bright halo lit up above Olya's head, with the setting sun as the background. My sister was shining. When she was just a baby, Dad always used to say she was shining with happiness. I always retorted, but Dad, she's not just some flashlight. But I brought her to the window one day, and sunlight poured onto her smiling face. I felt like I was holding a light-woven child. I saw everything. Oh, really? What did you hide? She was just like my mom when she was little, before she put on her sad mask of tiredness and switched to her commanding tone of voice. It's nothing, just... Olya ran up to the table, her eyes round, and asked, You stole something and hid it in there? Are you a thief? What? Don't be stupid. I didn't steal anything. A clear image came to mind, that mitten hanging from a tree branch. What if I did steal it after all? From the forest, from the tilted figure standing behind the black trees. Olya could be selfish and stubborn when she wanted. Then show me. Swear that you won't tell anyone? Then I'll show you. Olya wore a plotting smile. I don't trust that face. I don't trust that cute smiling face. She's up to something. I swear on Mom's heart. Okay, maybe she's not. An oath that she heard from one of the movies about pioneers that we've watched. Don't say things like that. Olya nodded and made a gesture with her hands, locking her mouth with an imaginary key. She was filled with curiosity that was splashing in her giant eyes. I opened the drawer and Olya leaned in, holding her breath. It looked like there was not just a simple mitten, but some sort of exotic critter. "Is this someone's mitten?" she said, as if she couldn't understand what she was seeing. "Yeah, a certain boy lost it, and then he got lost himself. Now, you do understand how dangerous it is for kids to wander off into the forest, right? He must be really cold out there." "Will they find him?" "Yeah, they will. The police are going house to house, showing everyone his photo." Olya traversed the room with care and pressed her tiny palms against the window. "And why are they going house to house and not into the forest? Are they scared?" The question caught me off guard. "Police aren't scared of anything. They've already scouted the forest." "Yeah, right," flashed in my clouded mind. Did they really check every nook and cranny where darkness, cold, and whispers of icy branches dwell? If that was the case, how did they miss the mitten? Or did it appear later, just for me? I changed the topic, as if trying to get Olya as far away as possible from the forest thicket. We may get a reward if I go and find this boy myself. A lot of stuff, like in the Wheel of Fortune. Sounds cool, right?" Olya wasn't listening to me. She was piercing the forest with incredibly adult eyes, uncharacteristic of her. "What if the owl got him?" "That's nonsense. An owl won't be able to lift a human." "But you know what?" I was picking my words with the utmost care. I forced them out of my overexerted brain. "Stay away from the forest. I think it's... how should I put it? It's cursed or something." "Just like in the fairy tale?" "No, it's more like in that spooky tape our parents hide from us." Olya shivered and stole a glance out the window. "I saw you running away." "Someone was chasing you?" "No, I was just hurrying back home so Mom wouldn't be worried." As I looked at my sister, my heart was tearing apart. She was so fragile. It was so easy to stifle her light. A gust of wind, and her small fire would be gone. "You're lucky. Mom won't even let me go outside. I'm like a princess in a tower. I can't go anywhere. I'll die from boredom here." "Ah, you're wrong. No one's ever died of boredom. And you've got me, your cartoons, and Mom and Dad will be good to each other soon." "You know what I would wish for my next birthday? I'd ask for Mom and Dad to turn into children so we could go play together like we used to." "Yeah, and if you'd make them as small as bugs, we could place them into a little box." Olya giggled and tugged at my sleeve. "Tosha, let's go watch Aladdin." Fatigue won over my desires to be with my little sister. I was washed over by some sort of heinous apathy. It's probably the pills, yeah, those super sedative pills. Just kind of like numbing them out. Yeah. "I'm too tired. I don't really want to." "Come on. It's so boring alone, and Mom's always busy. We can pick cartoons you haven't seen before." I know all of our tapes by heart at this point. "Not all of them. Have you watched Peter Pan? Remember how you fell asleep in the middle of it? And so much happens after that. Let's go. "Yeah, maybe a bit later." "Should I tell you how it ends?" "Let's leave that for tomorrow." "I won't tell you tomorrow." "I know. Let's play hide and seek." "No, Olya." "Then draw me a dino." "Olya, please." Draw it. Leave me alone already." I blurted it out without thinking, and then I was immediately taken aback. I'd never screamed at my sister like that. Olya stared at me in shock. Her lips started trembling, a precursor to tears. My chest was seething with disgust and embarrassment. What's happening to me? I hurried to prevent Olya from crying. "All right, you win. Let's go watch cartoons for a bit." "I don't wanna." I came up to her. I put my hands on her soft head. Let's go. Let's go watch Peter Pan." "Boo, you'll fall asleep again." I smiled and lifted her chin. Her eyes were wet and felt bottomless. "I promise I won't. And I'll draw you a full triceratops later." "Hooray! Triceratops." "Well, that's close enough." Olya rubbed her eyes with the sleeve of her pajamas, and a shining smile returned to her face. I'll go ask Mom for condensed milk and bread if you rewind the tape. The bread is fresh, just how you like it. All right, just be careful not to spill the milk, or you'll be yelled at again. Want to bet I won't spill it? The tape is somewhere on the nightstand. Look for it. Olya disappeared into the doorway. I dragged my feet into the neighboring room. Okay, should we save? Might as well. Boop. Cool, turn on the TV. Yeah, anything else in here? I don't think so. An old photon TV gathering dust in the corner. All that was left was clicking the button on the front panel. The tube warmed up and a familiar white noise started dancing on the black screen. I almost reached out to turn on the VCR when the noise calmed down and a blurry image appeared for a moment. It was the dark taiga forest, just like the one outside my window. The picture split the screen in half. Something creepy resembling human speech was coming out of the speaker. Just a few moments later, the scenery was again overshadowed by noise. Did I catch some rogue signal? Local TV stations only really showed Soviet cartoons, and even that was pretty rare. And only just recently, I always used to watch Robotech before school. It was so awesome. Maybe I should tinker with the antenna? What if I catch this channel again? On the other hand, Olya asked me to find her the tape. It wouldn't be nice to disappoint her. But in my sleepy state, I didn't have the strength to do all of it. We have a choice? Okay. Well, I can't disappoint Olya. Yeah, here, we'll save again. No, disappoint the Olya. Okay. We'll go after the tape. I sifted through the sleeves full of dolls and blue hippos from the Kinder Surprise. I found the tape I needed thanks to its shabby spine. Predator. Interesting. Just casually watching Predator? I mean, I was probably that age. I was younger than 12 when I saw Predator, for sure. Yeah. I had like no regulations on media that I consumed. Like absolutely zero. I was watching a whole lot of shit I should not have been watching. I got the black rectangle from its box. The tape inside it rustled while the rewinding began. This rustle was luring me to sleep. Drowsiness attacked me while I was squatting before the TV. Images whirled in my head, me and Olya flying above the forest, tumbling in the soft clouds. My little sister was laughing, but her smile becomes more and more forced with every passing second. I noticed that the clouds underneath us part, burying the bristly pine tops. Swampy darkness slurped amongst the trees, the wings no longer able to hold us and Olya. You haven't started without me, have you? My sister brought a tray with unevenly cut bread and a whole can of condensed milk. I rubbed my eyes. No, come, sit. Mom and Dad are arguing again. Yeah, they're going through rough times. Rough times are lame. On the screen, Wendy was hiding Peter Pan's shadow into a dresser. Olya was entertained by the cartoonish dog, Nana. Maybe Mom and Dad will buy us a dog too. Yeah, right. I'll have my own dog in Neverland, and a cat, and a parrot. Olya smeared the slice of bread with a thick layer of condensed milk and handed it to me? Is that a thing? I've never heard of that before. It doesn't sound very good. I don't know though. I mean, coming from somebody who had like lots of different ways of sprucing up poor people food younger, like, oh god, the things I've done with Spam and ramen, trying to make it taste different or better. Yeah, so it's understandable. I suppose that would be like a poor person's staple. Yeah, you suppose they're struggling. So I won't knock it. Just as long as it isn't Nutella. I fucking hate Nutella, man. It's just chocolate, but for some reason it grosses me out. And I like chocolate, but I can't have Nutella. Anyway, enough about Nutella. Olya smeared the slice of bread with a thick layer of condensed milk and handed it to me. Have you lost all your baby teeth? Yeah, obviously. Olya frowned, deep in thought. Peter Pan has baby teeth. What if they won't let you go to his land with adult teeth? We'll think of something. We'll ask Dad to alter your age in the passport. What? Forging documents? Is that what Dad does? Holy shit. And why exactly? And why would Dad forge documents? Olya took a bite from the sandwich and started talking with her mouth full. He would. He told Mom that he did it before. You'll grow ears as big as Dumbo's. Olya got worried and touched her ear. I smiled to myself. My little sister was silent now. She just devoured the bread, watching the adventures of Peter Pan, Tinkerbell, and James Hook, as she got sucked into the fairy tale Neverland. To be honest, I also imagined myself there, in a land where no one ever ages, where no one argues over little things, where no one listens to fights and the sounds of broken plates at night. I felt like I was dreaming, with my eyes still open. Then my sister's scream pulled me back to reality. Tosha, shut the curtains, fast! Why? No one's watching you. It's dark, and when it's dark, the owl comes. I'm scared. I got out of bed, fighting my drowsiness, and closed the curtains. Anything else we can do? Nope. I did my best not to look outside, towards the treetops, towards the taiga forest, which seemingly drew closer and closer. Of course, it was just a visual effect from shadows of branches scraping the snow. Tosha, Mom thinks I made the owl up. And Dad, too, thinks I'm a liar since I'm small. But the owl exists. Honestly it does. You do believe me, right? That it comes every night, and... I swiftly grabbed Olya's hand and looked her in the eyes. I was trying to transfer at least some of my courage and determination. But did I really have those qualities? Yes, I believe you, all right? Just don't nag our parents about it anymore. They're already dealing with a lot, so they'll just get mad at you. Come and tell me if anything happens. And don't look out the window. But it wants me to look. Doesn't matter. Act like it doesn't exist and never existed. Like it's made up, just like Mom and Dad say. It'll get tired of waiting and fly away. We followed Peter Pan's adventures as if nothing had happened, as if the forest didn't kidnap kids, as if our parents weren't tearing each other apart bit by bit. Captain Hook was running away from a crocodile, and Captain Pan was heading to London on a gilded sailboat. By some miracle, I lasted longer than my sister. Olya's eyelids had dropped. She started snoring lightly, resting her chin on the side of the bed. I stood up and left Olya's room. I was looking out the window, studying the field, when Mom peeked into my room. Enough playing around. It's your first day of school tomorrow. Go to bed. You should sleep properly. You don't want to be teased for being sleepy, right? More like teased for glasses. Adults think everything is so simple. As if sound sleep would ensure my classmates would like me. Yeah, he has so much, maybe he has trauma about it? About being accepted and stuff. I mean, that's a pretty normal kid thing, but he's obsessive over it. Yeah, thinks of it often. I cover myself with a blanket up to my neck and listen to the house humming, to some invisible rustling in the corner. My inner voice had a question for me. Do I want to hear that mysterious flute again? Yes or no? Maybe it's just part of growing up and I can't fully understand my own desires. The forest wailed behind the barrier that is my walls. Some ethereal entity wandering the fields. Branches shook as if calling for me. The wind howled on and on into the night. My thoughts were like annoying flies that entered my head before becoming weak and tangled. I didn't notice how I fell into slumber. It has come, after all. The day I feared most. The first day of a new school term. Episode 2. Time to play with you. That sounds sinister. New school, new teachers, and most importantly, new classmates, who I always have trouble connecting with. like most other kids with glasses, probably. I forced myself to get out of my warm bed. Dad would usually drive me to my old school, but this morning, the bedroom of my parents was silent. Did they sleep in? Maybe it was a good thing. Maybe I didn't want to be known as the daddy's boy reputation from day one. My parents were probably still tucked in, dreaming about the good old days when everything was so simple and easy. Sweet dreams, even if far removed from reality. I silently snuck out to the first floor so I wouldn't wake anybody up, especially the peacefully sleeping Olya. I did my best to step in the middle of every floorboard. I used to play like this in our old apartment. If my soles touched the space between the floorboards, it counted as stepping into lava. And he has a little bit of OCD. I mean, normal people do that too. I still do that when I'm walking on sidewalks and shit. Like, don't step on the lines and stuff. But yeah, I guess it's pretty normal. The clock was spurring, or maybe it's not, and I'm just a weirdo. The clock was spurring me on with its hands. I need to hurry. Faster, faster. I was too fast, so I needed to circle the hallway once again. Boiling lava was bursting out of the cracks between the floorboards. I needed to watch my step to survive at any cost. Hippity hop, like a frog, jumping on molehills, like the fearful bunny in a grove full of wolves. I made a sandwich in the kitchen, shoved it down my throat, and drank it with cold tea. My appetite was as good as of someone being led to the scaffold towards a guillotine. I lowered my gaze and saw that one of my feet was standing on two floorboards at the same time. Burnt to a crisp, huh? I moved my foot. Disgusting little snakes writhed in my belly, the fear of getting hit and being called nasty names. The clock clicked. I need to go. It was dark outside, fitting for an early winter morning. The darkness never fully left the houses around here. I took my time tying my shoes, buttoning up my puffy down jacket, trying to delay my unpleasant exit into the semi-dark, into the unnerving unknown. I rubbed my glasses for good luck, though I couldn't remember a single time these thick pieces of glass brought me any good fortune. The sky was akin to a giant bruise. On the east side of it, a black cloud was swelling up. It licked up the stars from the sky and extinguished the rising sun. Darkness was plastered all over the treetops. The cautious cries of birds got tangled up in the thicket. I locked the front door with the long key I wore around my neck. My parents made me wear this noose, afraid that I, being the total klutz that I am, could lose the key otherwise. The wind whizzed on the other side of the gate. It invited me into a new life, towards dubious adventures. And tagged alone, like an old buddy, pushing me in the back. Wide shadows that pines threw out covered a third of the clearing. Upon reaching the edge of the forest, I hid my nose in my coat's collar. I was squeezing through the thin firebreak, my hair ruffled up and my back hunched over. Tall trees stood on both sides of the tiny trail. The snowy blanket rustled under my feet, and the cacophony of intertwined branches above my head cut me off from the already sparse starlight. The night had no plans from moving away from the forest. In this darkness, trees reminded me of shaggy old women that smelled of burial earth. Their trunks turned into cracked, wrinkled faces with holes in the middle as their mouths. If I lost focus, even for a moment, mold-covered witches would drag me into the forest's depths. Then my parents would be walking around these parts, screaming my name. But the dead can't answer the living. Or can they? A sense of panic was growing in my chest. I was fine with Dad carrying me to school in his hands by now if it saved me from watching the darkness rise up the ravines like black dough. It felt like someone jumped into the bushes behind me, so I turned around. As soon as I started walking faster, I heard the snow squeaking behind me. The forest took a deep breath with its giant lungs. The windfall cracked. The wind and the birds were left behind in the field. Now I could only hear the forest creak. I walked, listening closely, and the unseen presence grew stronger, as if someone was following me, trying to match the pace of my footsteps. I turned my head so fast it made my neck crunch. A tiny trail behind me disappeared into the darkness. Tree branches overlapped, forming a natural tunnel. "Who's there?" The question escaped my lips and dissolved into the unending creaking sound from the wooden idols, the pines around me. Why did I think going through the forest alone was a good idea? I'm either going mad, or someone had intentionally lured me away from home. Distant lights granted me a smidge of hope. A country road. I ran there as fast as I could, as if afraid that the trail would shrink. Clawed hands would grip me by the shoulders, turn me around, and make me look at the faces of the hungry forest denizens. In the end, nobody stopped me. I almost flew to the decrepit wooden bridge, disbelieving my luck. The bridge's supports, bathed in a spring, tarry and ice cold. I put my hands on my knees and looked up at the forest, and then snorted, trying to calm my breathing. The thicket was pretending to be asleep. It looked peaceful, lifeless. The remaining part of my commute led me through a snow-laden road, illuminated by sparse lamplights. I chased away the bad thoughts and ran as fast as I could from one circle of light to another, seeking protection from electrical lamps. This sounds like a torturous existence for this kid, man. You can't even walk to school in peace. It's just awful. Just like in that game, where you need to be the first to proclaim, "I'm protected." It's just in this case, that protection was flimsy at best, with darkness writhing outside its boundaries. Then I noticed something remarkably eerie. In a place where the light from an inclined lamp couldn't reach, a hairy, crooked shadow came alive with a guttural roar. It almost felt like its features deterred the light. Its unnatural pose instilled fear. My eyes almost popped out of their sockets as I stood there, blinking, trying to chase away the illusion. But the shadow didn't disappear. It even got closer. My insides were gripped by horror. I stepped back and almost fell into a snow pile. The black silhouette, on the other hand, straightened up and addressed me in a sweet voice. "Sneaking around, huh? Trying to steal my soul." The words got stuck in my throat. Who could be talking in such a silky voice here, between the forest and the dormant village? "Hey, will you say something, dummy? Cat got your tongue? All right, I'll bite off your nose then. That'll teach you not to poke in places it doesn't belong." A girl stood before me, judging from the voice and the silhouette. But I couldn't even reprimand myself for getting scared by a girl before noticing again a gaping mouth under her hood and something dangerously shiny inside. I was stunned. From the cavity of her hood, a frightfully real fox face was staring straight at me. Oh, okay. So it was a girl's voice? Wow. What a lovely, deep voice she had. It's just her jaws weren't moving and her eyes weren't blinking. A mask? It's just a girl with a fox mask on. At least I wanted to think that. After a surprise like that, a nervous smile involuntarily crept up onto my face. I was going to school and then you... What about me? Never see a fox feed a dog? Aw. And indeed, there was a small dog circling the girl's legs. One of the strays that were chasing me yesterday, probably. Sorry, I didn't mean to. After hearing my voice, the dog whimpered, lowering its ears, sniffing me out, and then started wagging its tail. Oh, it's a cute puppy. I guess I still smell of the bologna I ate for breakfast. Bologna for breakfast? Whew. It was a bold choice. Hope you brushed your teeth afterwards. I was shifting my gaze back and forth from the dog to the girl. She didn't seem scary anymore, just weird. So, you didn't mean to, huh? What's your name? I'm Anton. And you? And I'm not. She's weird. Definitely has a couple screws loose. But she has a nice voice. My astonishment has turned into a mix of happiness and relief. This girl I didn't know was definitely human, if a bit eccentric. I was also a bit angry at myself. This foxy girl walking through the darkness without a problem, and I shudder from every little sound. I could just walk away, but the girl had piqued my interest. The next time a police officer asks me about friends at the new place, I'll tell them that I befriended a talking fox. Do you live around here? In the village. The fox giggled and purred. She spun around so hard, the hem of her coat lifted up. No, dummy. Foxes don't live in villages. So you live in the forest, then? Have you been living under a rock? It's obvious that foxes can't survive anywhere near humans, as long as they're foxes. Her jokes were also weird. Just like her carnival mask, paper mache with fur glued onto it. The dog reminded us of its existence with a loud bark. I unfastened my backpack. Dad would sometimes throw food in there without my knowledge, cookies, apples, or even my favorite, crab sticks. He called it a gift from the bunny. The stray strolled towards me with mincing footsteps and a pleading look in its eyes. The fox did definitely treat it to something, but it was probably still hungry. Why are you dressed like this so early in the morning? Going to a costume party? The girl shrugged, throwing silvery snowflakes off her nose, and her human form along with them, turning into a genuine beast. A real fox, agile, cunning, dangerous. A moment of hesitation, and you'll be ripped to shreds. She'll tear you up and gulp you down without breaking a sweat. Are foxes really that dangerous? I don't think so. I think they're just cute little foxes. I couldn't help but just stand there as a stump. Until I heard her calm, melodic laughter, hidden underneath the beastly mask. I wish you could have seen your own mask, sweetie. Sweet? Did she say sweetie? I got embarrassed. I went red up to my hair roots. We've seen foxes in a zoo once, when we were out with Dad, but it had patchy fur and was gray and skinny. But this girl was of fiery color and fury, just like in the fairy tales. I was still rummaging through my backpack. My fingers that were searching for the dog's treats stumbled upon some soft, crumpled object. You'll see. The real beasts will wake up soon. You should ask them where they got their human faces. The girl's shadow was dancing in the lamplight. The dog yapped in agreement. I freaked out and dropped my finding in the snow without getting a proper chance to examine it. Cold wind instantly covered the hole it created with the snow. The dog rushed to it to dig it out, waiting to get its treat. And the fox just snorted. Now I was so embarrassed. I wanted to sink through the snow. It was still dark outside of the electrical circle. On the contrary, the darkness seemed even more thick. All neighboring houses were sleeping deeply in its inkiness. I did my best to continue the conversation with the weird girl I didn't know. So are you going to school? Oh my, you are a real dummy. Don't you get it? Well, I was trying to be friendly, but she can't stop mocking me, calling me a dummy and all. I should have just moved along without paying any attention to this weirdo and her stupid dog. Why are you so mean? Don't answer if you don't want to. It's not like I care. Still, something froze me in place, tugged me towards the dark figure. A mysterious appearance. Her voice was velvety and just languid enough. I was intrigued and excited. I watched her as people watch fires burn. Oh, stop pouting. Look here. Zulka took a liking to you. The dog was digging through the snow with sharp movements, snoring loudly. The fox turned around and looked at the windows of a nearby house, at its timbered fronts through the white mist. The tip of her fake nose was shining under the lamp's light. And maybe someone else's too. I went red again, like a boiled crayfish this time. She's talking about herself or someone else? I hoped that the semi-dark would be able to hide my embarrassment from the girl. I cleared my throat before asking, "And who's that person?" I waited, counting my heartbeat. The fox didn't reply. Her sly stare was scanning the frosty patterns of someone's window. She was reading them like a glass book. I wondered what she could see in those winter paintings. The stray stopped rummaging through the snow. It ran to me, holding my object in her jaws. A mitten. Could it be the one I found in the forest? What is it doing here? When I took a closer look, I realized it was just my mitten. Maybe Mom stuffed it in there when I was asleep. A certain missing boy immediately came to mind. "Hey, do you know anything about Vova?" I imagined the scene, silhouettes dancing in the clearing. The dance on the night when Vova had disappeared. A boy who, when found, can provide a big reward and maybe save my family. I remembered my birthday when our parents promised to take me and Olya to Disneyland in Paris. But instead of a long-anticipated gift, they gave me a simple brick game console, visibly embarrassed. I was crying my eyes out back then, demanding them to take me to the promised amusement park. That was the first time when Mom and Dad had a big fight. My greediness shattered their relationship. Oh, don't blame yourself, kid. Don't blame yourself. The adults are the reason. They're responsible for that stuff. If only I could fix everything, gather everybody I love and take them to Disneyland. On the night Vova disappeared, I think I saw someone looking like you dancing under my window. It couldn't be true, but I felt like her mask became even more sly. The fox was sniffing me out. "Oh, that got you worried? For yourself or for someone else?" "Olya." As soon as I thought about my sister, my chest tightened. The cold sweat streamed down my spine. "Well then, listen closely, a boy named Anton. This is a big and scary forest." The girl fox stepped forward menacingly. "And I'm not its only tenant. The other beasts already know about you. Beware will come again tonight." I shouldn't have talked to this evil in child form, I thought, panicking. "When you and your parents will be fast asleep, we'll sneak really close and dance." Macarena. Huh? Hey, Macarena. Hi. Oh, look at your face. Your mouth is agape. And Tosha. He saw me near his window at night. Yeah, right. Are you by chance a dimwit? Nobody would let me go outside that late. Children go missing here, you know. I touched the plastic frame of my glasses, puzzled by her silly joke. She's got me scared to death. Hey, why don't you stop fondling your glasses? I was also nearsighted once. Listen to me, and maybe you'll become smarter. What, did you just become unnearsighted? Does that happen? I mean, without LASIK? I don't know. Remember, what do they call foxes? Cunning. My words seemed to hurt her. Hey, what did you... I'm sorry. Her laughter was akin to the jingle of a pair of silver bells. Just pulling your leg. Of course we're cunning. If you're agile and brave enough to befriend a cunning fox, I'll help you look for Vova. There's a reason why you're doing it, right? I shrugged in reply. Her insight was alarming. I know why children have been swarming our forest recently. Sometimes you can find out a lot of interesting stuff here. One day, I saw a huge pile of candy once, and I swam in it until my jaws cramped. A pile of candy? I couldn't deduce whether she believed in what she was saying from the tone of her voice. I showed her another smile, a fake one this time. Boo, so wary. Well, what will you say to this then? She held out her hand in a furry mitten. There was an assortment of sweets in her palm. In the city where I used to live, sweets like these were sold at markets or in kiosks. I saw my favorite bubblegum in a vivid wrapper amongst the tasty treasure. A familiar name was on it, Turbo. A triangular fox face poked her nose towards me. Take some. My pockets are full of these. Shit. I don't know what to think. It's all in his head, man. Yeah, it's all in his head. I mean, we've already confirmed that with the mitten. Like, Mom confirmed that to us. So, and he did to himself, too. Eventually, the, obfuscation of the mitten being full of a hand and blood was, the illusion was broken, and it was just a soiled, damp, soggy mitten. That's it. I don't know whether to take this or not. You don't take candy from strangers, man. I refuse. No, thanks. I didn't want to offend the person I've made contact with in this new place, but I also didn't want to take gum from the hands of some weird girl. What if she found it in a snow pile? I don't know, she could be friendly though. Or what if it's prank candy, the kind that blows up in your face when you unwrap it? I'm allergic to sweets. Eller what? She sounded puzzled. Are you living in the world of pills and mixtures? Huh, what's that supposed to mean? Well, more or less. The fox whistled. Her palm was empty now. It floated in the air, catching snowflakes now that all of the candy had suddenly disappeared. And you only celebrate New Year's once in 12 months, right? And you have those... She clicked her fingers, trying to remember something. Mondays? Yeah? I smiled. Man, you're a difficult case. I prescribe you a kilo of chocolate to battle your boredom, young man. Huh, you rejected the fox's treat. Yeah, I think I'll stick with that. Who are you? I refrained from asking that question. She wouldn't answer anyway, or she'll just lie. I really wanted to see what's behind her mask. I was becoming more and more sure that underneath it wasn't just a simple young girl. What if Vova also found a snow pile with sweets and is now rolling in it? Actually, what if he decided to stay in the forest? Oh, he must be so cold without his second mitten then. How did you know? Did we tell her about that? The wind caught her words like smoke from a fire and carried them deep into the darkness, into the creepy thicket. The trees behind me creaked with their bony branches. Or what if something happened to him along the way? Something terrible. The forest reacted to her words, became alive. It sniffed me out, perking up its ears, just like a curious beast. The fox girl pierced me with her eyes once again. Wild beasts? You find that scary? Well, I don't know. He doesn't know. Oh my, have I befriended a dunce? I didn't like being called a dunce, yet being friends with her sounded nice. My grades are good. Oh, really now? Will you come with me? Good grades, Anton. We'll find your Vova, and you'll be able to ask him what he found deep in the forest. As long as you're with me, nothing can hurt you in the forest. You'll see. Worms of worry writhed in my belly. Better run, whispered in my mind. I don't believe you. Do you take me for a liar? Whatever, you're just like everyone else. The girl sounded hurt, although I didn't know if she was genuine about it. She turned around as if she had immediately lost all interest in me. I remembered my dad's favorite saying, "Where are your manners, son?" Indeed, this fox was kind to me. Please don't get mad. Foxes can also be nice, like in fairy tales. I just need to know what kind of a fox you are. The girl giggled, hiding the nose of her mask in her hands. Then follow me into the forest, and you'll get to know me. But not right now. When it gets bright. I mean, your whole body is shaking, you poor thing. I don't want you to get a stroke. Hey, let me accompany you to school. After hearing this, the dog barked in agreement and stopped messing with the mitten. I leaned in, trying to grab the piece of handwear, that almost ran away from me. Well, if we're going in the same direction, we went towards the school and the lost dawn. Here and there, the lights came on in the windows of houses we passed as their inhabitants were sending us warning signs. Silhouettes lurked behind the curtains. The dogs let out occasional barks. Spirals of gray smoke rose from chimneys. TVs bustled and dishes clanged in kitchens. We watched the village slowly rise from its slumber while carefully treading the snow wheel trails. I walked in the left one and she took the right. The dog was following right behind us. I expected the fox to bring up something weird again, but she stayed silent all the way to school, as if playing with me some game only she was privy to. She would only giggle from time to time when the dog sneezed from the snowflakes that fell on its nose. I was the first to break the silence. So, what's your name? Here it comes. Names, names, names. You people always need to put labels on everything. What name would you give a fox like me? I don't know. But I've read about Alyssa the fox. You know what? I don't mind. I'll be Alyssa. I couldn't understand if she was joking or not. I turned around as if looking for an answer. From the dog, from the dark sky devoid of dawn. My silent questions were left unanswered. The school's outline was already in our sight. A giant brick box, stuck in the endless night. Lights in its windows didn't bode well for me. The warden trees were guarding the schoolyard. Screams and childish laughter and someone's whistling tore up the silence. I went here with my mom when we just moved to this place, and it looked cozy at the time. Empty corridors that smelled of Polish, puffy snow outside. The second time I came alone to get the books and just kept on imagining my peers rolling down the railings, grade schoolers running to the library, and teachers marching down the corridor with an air of self-importance about them. High schoolers were smoking at the entrance in track pants and wool caps perched on their foreheads. Their appearance destroyed the last hope for a cozy school. Their stinging eyes and teeth, yellow from nicotine, their smirks, all of it had the same gloomy effect as the cloudy winter morning. Absorbed by my thoughts, I completely forgot about my companion. I'll wait for you at the backyard, after school. Near the hanged man. Near what? She just ignored my question. Don't be late. I hesitated. Blowing hot and cold again, Mom always said when I would have trouble choosing between two options. Thinking about Mom helped me reply. I'm going straight home after school. Well, Antosha, I'm going to let you off the hook. But the others will creep up on you with their smiles and sink their teeth into you. Won't be able to shake them off so easily. Remember my words. Holy shit, the fox opened her mouth in a wide yawn. What kind of trick is this? Someone running in the distance called out my name. Instinctively, I turned around. A huge snowball whizzed past my shoulder and hit the dog. It whimpered and ran towards the spring. The darkness devoured it. The girl fox was also nowhere to be seen. She dissolved into the frosty air. Or was she hiding in my shadow? After taking a deep breath, I went towards the school, towards the cutlets and dough, towards the light raining down onto the snow. I don't know. I don't even know what to make of that, dude. Oh, who's this nest at? Oh, we can actually look at stuff? I didn't know that. Like wherever it makes a sound, you can get little flavor dialogue. That's awesome. Whose nest is this, I wonder? A thriving magpie? Then it probably has all sorts of shiny things in it. Oh, I feel bad. Because there was some noises that was in Olia's room and stuff. And in our room. Damn, I missed a bunch of stuff. Pieces of colorful glass, bottle caps, polished coins, or child's braces. Oh no. Okay, I'll stop. We're gonna break him. Here, I'll click him. A tall man was standing near the gate, puffing out clouds of smoke into the wind. He didn't look like a teacher. Was he a PE guy, maybe? Maybe. I carefully studied his face that looked like it was cut from a piece of granite, and his hair lip that was holding down a cigarette. He was playing around with car keys and staring back at us. The light from the cigarette was reflected in his eyes that were sitting deep in his eye sockets. I froze in place. The hulking man lazily tore his eyes off of me and walked towards the road. Interesting. There was a fresh-looking Volga parked nearby, with one of its front wheels perched up onto the icy curb, black like soot, as if it was straight out of a horror story Dad loved to tell me when we hid in the attic during the thunderstorm. I remember him always wearing a sad smile while mentioning a black car that snatched children. He would say, "It looks like a funeral car on the inside, white curtains and all. And it has a DSC in its license plate. Do you know what that means? Death to Soviet children." God, Russians, leave your kids alone. Stop doing this to them. Funny, I was born in the USSR too. Anything else? Kids, a buzzing crowd of upperclassmen with their winter hats tipped to the side. I'd better not draw their attention. Or their ire. Here, let's save again. Damn. Crazy. Alright, we'll leave it there. Thank you all so much for watching. I'm Lone, and this has been Tiny Bunny.